Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso. You're live on S3, and we may not always know exactly what it is we want to do after we have finished school. But being afforded a curriculum that exposes us to many, many options, we can actually go a very, very long way when it comes to making those decisions and ensuring successful futures. Now, over the past 5 years, I chatted to Tabiso about this. 90 new subjects have been introduced into SA schools, opening the world of specialized skills and careers even more. Now, joining us via video call to share a bit more is Chief Director of National and Provincial Communication at the Department of Basic Education, Mr. Elijah Schlanger. Welcome. Thank you so much for waking up for us so early this morning. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I'm also loving your background. It's very, very on point. Thank you very much, Elijah. So, what is the importance of keeping the subjects in our schools evolving constantly? I know people, sometimes when it comes to education, they don't like change. However, we have to because the world is changing around us. So, what is the importance around you making sure that we are up to date?
Well, let me start off by saying that I'm inside an actual classroom in Mpumalanga. What you see here is a teacher behind me. She's already working,
awesome.
Starting very early to prepare for the learners. So that's how it goes in the sector. We start early. This is actually a foundation phase class. So what is happening is that the Department of Basic Education has identified that one of the reasons for learners dropping out of the system is the lack of sufficient subjects that they want to see in the curriculum. So we decided that we needed to use this opportunity to introduce new subjects that are going to find as of interest to them. But over and above that, we are preparing our young people to be ready for the changing environment in terms of work, technology, and sciences, but also just the widening scope in terms of the interest that different people would have. But we've also been working together with other countries to say, what is it that the economy in the future or countries in the future are going to require? And then we agreed that we needed to introduce subjects that will talk to the future needs of the economy, because we need to plan forward. We've seen that in the past few years, there have been new careers as well that have come into the economy. And we therefore need to make sure that we equip our young people with the skills that they require for them to be able to cope and contribute meaningfully in the development of the country.
I think that is absolutely incredible, the fact that we are evolving in the best way possible, and it's developmental, which is what we need in this country, and many others around us as well. Also, forgive me, that looked like a background. And if it's really there, then it just shows you the commitment of the Department of Education to make sure that we are ready and up and going as early as possible. So I actually took a scan of the subjects, Elijah, and I noticed that a lot of them that have been introduced, they're actually, aimed directly at those who may not necessarily matriculate or attend a tertiary institution. So what is the aim of offering subjects like these?
Well, the purpose is to make sure that young people have a choice. Some research years ago when we did it, and we asked young people, why is it that you don't finish school? They said that I find school boring because you have subjects that I don't like. I don't want to be any of these things that are here. And in fact, I don't want to go to university, but I want to obtain a skill that I can use to start my own business, or a skill that I can use to employ other people and do something that is exciting to me, something that really talks to me and my interests. So that's why we're doing that. So we are doing this in conjunction with TVET colleges as well, and other tertiary institutions like the University of Technology, because not everyone should go to a university. If you can branch out and go get a qualification in a place where you are going to get the practical part of what the job entails, which means that it will give you a skill rather than just giving you a degree which you cannot necessarily use. I'm saying this because we know that there are lots and lots of young people who have degrees, they've qualified from universities, but they don't have the practical skill. And as a result of that, they're not able to find employment. So we are saying there has to be a way of pairing the education system with industry. That's why these subjects were done in conjunction with different sectors in the economy, automotive, aviation, marine, and all of these. These are done together with the captains of industry who say, in the future, this is what we believe is coming. We can work with you to develop the curriculum. When these young people are done with their qualifications, or even during their studies, they can come through to our spaces to get practical experience, which is something that we really need desperately, because once they have experience, they can be easily absorbed into the economy, and they can start working and develop the country further.
Mr. Elijah Schlanger, thank you so much. That was only part one. I want to take an in-depth look at some of the subjects added to the curriculum and, of course, what this means for the education department and the learners who will come out of there after matric as well. So we'll take a closer look in the next couple of minutes, but let's take a look at some incredible baking on your Feel Good Breakfast Show first.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso. You are live on S3 and we're back on video call with Chief Director of National and Provincial Communication at the Department of Basic Education, Mr. Elijah Schlanger. He's breaking down some more of those 19 new subjects that have been introduced into South African schools over the past 5 years, as well as some new areas of learning being trialled and introduced in curricula this year. So, Mr. Elijah Schlanger, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. And I did mention that we'd go into a more in-depth look into what those subjects are and what they mean. But I actually noticed that aquaponics and agricultural studies has been added as well. And I believe that what we are trying to do is ensure that there's a lot more sustenance farming, a lot more knowledge of the soil that we have in order for our individuals to be self-sustaining and maybe future farmers. So what was the thinking behind adding subjects of this nature to the curriculum?
Well, that's a good question. You know, South Africa, we always talk about land, and we had not done much to equip our young people in terms of the skills they need for them to participate in food production. But we also have not done much to expose them to the different careers that are there in agriculture in general. To this extent, the department has expanded agriculture as a concept in the curriculum to include now agricultural studies. If you look at a timetable for grade 12 now, you'll find that agriculture is the only subject that has 3 different variations. You've got agricultural sciences, agricultural management, and agricultural technology, and now agricultural studies, because we understand the importance of alerting and raising awareness among our young people to understand that agriculture is really not just about planting. There's a lot to it, and there are many careers that you can go into when you choose agriculture as a subject. So we are making sure that they understand that you don't necessarily need to be a farmer. You could be a researcher, you could be a scientist, you could be a person working on the technology that is assisting the farmers to plant or do their business in different ways, because there's animal agriculture as well. There's all sorts of things that are there. Really. Aquaponics, we're talking to them about the creativity that is needed, that really agriculture does not need a large farm somewhere. You can use any space that you have to create food or to create whatever it is that you're thinking about. So we're showing them that there's really so much more to agriculture than what we know. And we believe that by bringing these subjects into the curriculum, young people will find that there's actually a lot of careers that they can follow, and that they have the opportunity to choose these subjects at school level and then use them for their future careers and their future pathways. So we really urge parents to understand that there's a lot more now than what you learned in school when you were there, but also that we need to encourage young people to choose these subjects, even if you don't know them. Try understand, but also teachers, please try and encourage our young people to choose these careers.
I think it's a great anecdote is that you're creating a growing nation, a nation that can grow their own food, their own farms can go from, soil up. And I think that's absolutely critical, especially on an economic level as well, because that particular skill can be applied to, sort of the tertiary levels as well as, beyond that too. So this is fantastic. I also looked at some other subjects, Mr. Schlanger. I also looked at civil technology and mechanical technology being added to curriculum, as well as technical sciences. And I know that those are subjects that you often find at the technical tertiary institutions. Now I see it in a high school curriculum, which is fascinating to actually get into. So what was the thinking behind adding those?
Well, it's because of the need. You know, when we talk to industry, they tell us that manufacturing and these industries that you're talking about, these are the backbones of any economy anywhere in the world. We've been to Finland, UK, US, China, Japan, and everywhere else. They tell us the same thing. In fact, one of the biggest contributors was also Germany, where we went and we were told that these are the careers that we really need to focus on. So we want our young people coming out of this education system to be able to work anywhere in the world, to be able to be called upon as experts elsewhere in the world to go assist in various ways. But we also want them to contribute in developing this economy. We know that it has not been doing that great. We're importing a lot of things when we could be manufacturing stuff ourselves for export. And if we're able to become a manufacturing powerhouse ourselves on the continent, therefore we are, positioning ourselves as a global player. And for us to be able to do that, we need to make sure that our young people have the right skill, a skill that can be used anywhere in the world. So we want to bring this to our young people so that they understand that this education system is equal to any other one around the world. The subjects that you have here, you can study anywhere in the world. So we want really to make sure that whatever the curriculum is offering talks to the future and current needs of our economy. That's why we have partnered with industry. If you look now, we have focus schools or schools of specialization. In every school, there will be an industry or a company that is leading that sector, partnering with us, talk about aviation. Next to the airport, we've got a school there. It has close to it the airport, and everyone is able to access whatever the school might need for them to be able to teach the kids what they need. You go to Pretoria, we've got a school of automotive engineering, BMW and other companies are there. Toyota has given us some 230 plus engines as well. So you find the industry now coming through to partner with us. And this helps because whatever the young people are learning, they're able to see and they're able to begin with the practical component of it. So that's why we are doing this. And civil technology is huge. I mean, there's huge infrastructure development all over the place. And infrastructure is one of the key drivers of any economy. And we want our young people to also understand that there are so many careers in this area of work as well that they can choose.
Mr. Schlanger, I just want to thank you so much for the hard work that you and the Department of Education are doing to gear up all of our youth for the future. And I think the focus on what happens after school is so important. And that has to be focused in school while they're there. I know there's another couple of subjects trialed as well, coding, robotics, incremental introduction of African languages too. So that is fantastic. So I just want to say thank you very much to you and the Department of Education for gearing up our South African youth. It really is going to be a fantastic 2022. Have a fantastic day, and thank you very much for joining us in your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much. You too have a great one.
No matter what subject you study, make sure that you know that success comes from you, and the studies are vitally important to focus on. It is going to be a fantastic 2022. Make sure that it's successful as we continue with all of your Feel Good on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.